to Test This, the podcast designed to help software testers understand risk and adopt new testing solutions with ease and confidence. Your host is Mahamadou, a quality assurance consultant with over 10 years of experience across multiple industries. In each episode, he'll talk to different experts and learn from them about how they test.
Hello everyone and welcome Deepak Kamboj. Deepak is a senior software engineer and solution architect at Microsoft. He has over 24 years of experience in the tech industry. He is specialized in AI-powered automation and solution architecture. He is a creator of the AI Digest, a newsletter that makes generative AI approachable and actionable for developers and tech leads. He works on a daily basis with the latest tools and frameworks, including Playwright and the Model Context Protocol, MCP, and he has even authored the book Hands-on Automated Testing with Playwright. So welcome, Deepak. I'm happy to have you today.
Thank you very much, Mamado, and I'm very excited to be part of your podcast. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, in this episode, we'll be mainly talking about AI and how to test with Playwright MCP. We'll start with your journey and how you become interested in AI and test automation. Then we'll discuss the AI Digest newsletter on why AI is important. After that, we'll talk about how to test with different tools like TypeScript, MCP, Agentic Workflows. Then we'll discuss some common mistakes, and we'll conclude with the foundation needed to get started in the proper way and also some career growth advice.
Sure. So my career started in year 2001 when I passed out from computer science and engineering. So I started my career as a full stack software engineer. So it was not a testing earlier. So I started as a full stack software engineer. So in my early years, I worked across front end and back end development, where I have used a variety of technologies. For example, I worked on a legacy systems like VB and ASP. And then once .NET came, I started with the VB, .NET, ASP, .NET, and C#. And I was using a SQL Server and Oracle as a backend. Then I also learned other web technologies also like PHP. And then there was a time when we were having a lot of middleware requirements, so like Oracle FMW and BStock server. So I got expertise in a BStock server also. And then suddenly we were having a lot of content management requirements. So I worked on a SharePoint server also. And ultimately I moved to a dynamic CRM. And from dynamic CRM means I joined Microsoft as a full-time employee. So all these experience in various technologies give me a strong foundation, means building enterprise systems. Then over a time means from a software engineer, I moved to a very senior roles and eventually I become a solution architect. So solution architect, when I become an architect, it gives me a lot of responsibilities and it given me a depth and the breadth of our knowledge about different technologies, different domains, industries, how we can develop and design systems for large enterprises. So primarily I was using a Microsoft technologies only for enterprise solutions. So I was working as a pre-sales architect. So I was responsible for responding to different RFPs from enterprise customers. I was designing their solution architectures. I was also creating their technical and commercial proposals. So it was complete end-to-end solution architect role where I was responsible for end-to-end designing of a system. Later, when I was working in a dynamic CRM, so I got an opportunity to join Microsoft as a full-time employee. So it was an individual contributor role where my focus was completely towards development and developer productivity and test automation at a scale. So at that time, I started working as Selenium. So it was back in 2016 when I was working in a Selenium for a test automation, and then we implemented a Cypress also. So I worked for a few years in a Cypress, and then when a modern browser automation tool started emerging, I transitioned to a Playwright very early. Playwright was around 2020 when some of the developers from the Puppeteer team joined Microsoft. So I began developing Playwright in the October 2000. And at that time, Playwright was just a test framework, which was having only a authoring framework. It was not having a test runner. So we used Jest for a test runner along with the Playwright. And then my work was focused on building a large-scale automation framework, not just writing a test cases. So I built a infrastructure, in-house Playwright test infrastructure, which let hundreds of Microsoft engineers to adopt automation easily. For example, this in-house Playwright framework was used by 40 teams within Microsoft, and it has 14,000 automated test cases. And then my focus was shifted towards AI-powered agentic workflows 3 years back when ChatGPT just came in picture. We were using AI before that also, so we were having AI builder tools within a Power Platform team, which where we were using AI. But after ChatGPT, means primarily focus was to use AI technologies for generative AI. So I started building AI agents that can generate a Playwright test cases. It will be able to analyze failures. It will run accessibility checks. It will do a performance check, visual comparison, and ultimately it was able to create a pull request also automatically. So it was end-to-end workflow which I implemented, from generating a test cases, fixing a flaky test cases, reporting using AI builders, then self-healing agents, and ultimately using a AI agent for creating a pull requests also. So that's my work. This where I have an intersection of AI also, developer productivity also, and intelligence test automation also in Microsoft Taito.
Okay. And what inspired you to create the AI Digest?
Yeah, so means for the last years, AI is evolving a lot. Means if you see every week there are new models coming up, new tools coming up, new frameworks coming up, and there are a lot of research papers also coming up on the AI. So means I was very much interested in AI, so I started working in AI for the last 3 years. So for engineers, it was very difficult to keep up with the new technologies and how it actually matters to them. So that's why I started AI Digest, where I want to focus practical AI knowledge for a developer. It's not just means having a theoretical knowledge, means how AI can affect them, how they can use AI in their workflows. I try to share a practical knowledge how you can create a MCP server, how you can implement a AI agents, what are the different frameworks available for developing AI agents. Even they were confused whether they should use a Python or a TypeScript for using MCP or for developing AI agents. So being used multiple frameworks for building AI agents, like I worked on LangChain also, Langsmith also, I worked on the Vault agents also, I worked on the Versal AI SDK also. Internally, I use Microsoft Semantic Kernel and Agend also, QA and AutoGPT. So I have a vast knowledge about building AI agents. So I try to use those knowledge with the end developers. So I want to translate whatever skills I gain or whatever knowledge I'm getting. I want to share with the broader audience. So I started this AI Digest. So I try to share with whatever new AI tools coming up, new AI models coming up, what are the developer frameworks available for building MCP or AI agents, what are different AI agent architectures available. For example, we have design patterns when we do a software development. The same way we have a agentic design patterns also available. So I try to share those information also, and how these can help them in a real engineering use cases. So that was a purpose for starting AI Digest.
Okay. And outside testing, what are your favorite and most common AI tools?
So currently, means I really like Cloud Code and Cloud Cowork from 2026. Before that, I have used the GitHub Copilot a lot. GitHub Copilot was an internal tool also. So means I use GitHub Copilot a lot with different models. And coming to MCP, means Anthropic has MCP protocol. So means I try to use TypeScript to build a lot of MCP servers, and I use Python for mostly building a RAG frameworks or fine tuning of models. Also, I use Python over there. Building a LangChain agents, also I use the Python over there. So it's a mix and match of different technologies and frameworks which I try to use. And coming to our models, I mostly like the Anthropic models, Sonnet, and I use the Mistral also a lot. Mistral is providing a lot of free capability through the API, so that API is really good. So I try to use Mistral when I was developing a front end using a Next.js. Any dashboard I build or any chatbot I build, for example, I build avatars, also I build voice assistant agents also. So I use the Mistral API over there.
Okay, got it. Now let's talk more about testing. For those who are new to AI, new to MCP, can you explain what is MCP in simple terms and how we could help the testers on what they should learn about it?
Yeah, so MCP is a framework or a standard which allows you LLM to attach to your AI systems. So you can call it as a it's a USB for AI agents. So MCP use whenever you want to expose your tools, and those tools will be acted by your models. So these tools can be means any action you want to perform on your system. For example, you want to read the Gmails and you want to read the Google calendars, and then you want to schedule some meetings. So over there you can define those tools. Those tools can be interactive with the APIs. Those can be interactive with the database. Those can be interacting with the external systems. Like for example, if you have any hardware sensors, so you can have those hardware sensors also. So MCP allow you to create all those tools. Those tools are actually a functions in a Python or a TypeScript, and those tools you are exposing as a MCP server. So common examples you can take if you want to read your file system, you can create a MCP server by using a file-based Python libraries. If you want to read and write a Gmail, so you can have a Gmail MCP server. If you want to use a GitHub for getting a work items or getting a PS, so you can use a GitHub MCP server. So there is a term called function calling also, means where you can expose your tools to a function calling also. So that's another framework which you can use. You can use AI agents also to expose your tools. So MCP agents or function calling. So these are different technologies available within the AI system to expose your tools.
Okay, and why is TypeScript the go-to language if you're interested in AI?
TypeScript is a very simple language. Means earlier we were having a lot of client-side scripting. If you remember, means there was a JScript from Netscape a long time back in the 2001, 2003 time frame. Then we come with the JavaScript, which was client-side scripting, and which was evolved a lot. Means we come up with the jQuery, we come up with the lot of XML-based scripting also across JavaScript. So before TypeScript means Microsoft introduced TypeScript. Before that, we were having a Script Sharp also. We were writing a code in the C Sharp and we were converting to a JavaScript. So ultimately, we come with the TypeScript, which was a superset for JavaScript. So it's easy to write using object-oriented programming, but and it will be converted to a JavaScript. So it's a very lightweight framework which you can use, and there are a lot of innovation happened in the TypeScript along from the last 10 years. This TypeScript is my favorite language. For the last 7 to 8 years, I'm using a TypeScript only. I'm using a React framework for building UI applications, which is a framework from Facebook. Then I am using a Next.js also, which is a lightweight of a React framework, which is introduced by a Vercel. So these are different technologies I use a lot of days.
Okay, and can you also explain what is agentic workflows for testers as well?
Okay. So we have different terms. There is a agentic AI term, there is a AI agent term, and before that we have a generative AI. So I want to explain first means what is a generative AI. Generative AI is which where means user wants to use a LLMs or a models to generate some artifacts. For example, they want to create some content or a text or a image or a video or a audio. Okay. Then we moved from a generative AI to agentic AI in the 2025, where means we were trying to create autonomous systems which will be independent systems which will use a LLM to do some work. Okay, you're defining some goals and then you're defining some tools, and ultimately you're defining an agent which will use a LLM to decide what it has to do based on that particular goal, and you are using tools to perform all those activities. So agentic AI workflows, before agentic AI workflows, we were having automation also. You can use an and you can use a make.com or a JP, or you can use Power Automate, our product from a Microsoft, to create different type of workflows. Okay. So those workflows for existing for a long time. So we were having a flow charts on your, and then we come with the workflows where you can use your different tools to create those workflows. And then we integrated a AI agent along with those workflows, where it become by agentic workflows, where you can have a workflow and then you can use an AI agent to decide what activity you want to perform. So you can use an agent for getting all these agentic workflows. You can use a make.com also, which is a very good tool. And ultimately, these agentic workflows are using tools, and those tools either you can consume through MCP server, you can use through agentic workflow also. And then you have defined your goals. Purpose will be for agents, and then you are defining memory also. So in agentic workflows, memory or a state memory is very important. If you want to have conversational tools, then you have to maintain a memory. If you want to maintain the history for all the sessions you are where you are using agentic workflows, so you have to use memory also over there. So tools, memory, your goal, and your LLM, all these are merged together and becomes your agentic system.
So now, how does MCP change the way testers interact with tools like Playwright?
So, like I told you, MCP is a USB port for AI agents. Okay.
Yeah.
Earlier, every company was developing their own AI agents or their own tools. For example, GitHub developed their own tools, Playwright developed their own tools, Gmail has their own tools, Facebook has their own tools, Notion has their own tools. Okay, so even the developers were developing their own tools for their fun projects also. So how these tools will interact, or if I want to integrate these tools, how I can integrate? So Anthropic comes with the MCP. Okay, they define a protocol how means you can generalize all these tool definitions, and then you can create a system where these tools can be integrated or that can be shared among different agents. So they define a protocol. The same way means like we have a HTTP protocol where means we define how interface will be rendered on a web browser. Okay, they define all the W3W standards for a HTTP
Yeah.
protocol. The same way, Entropy defined all those protocols. How means you can share different tools or different functions among different agents. So if I want to use a GitHub, how I can use a GitHub functionality without using the APIs, and those tools will be available to me. So you can expose your APIs through our tools. You can expose your database through your tools. You can expose any sensors through your tools. You can expose any external environment through those tools. And then those tools you can package as an agent or as an MCP server, and that can be used across platforms.
Okay. And for testers try to implementing AI in their workflow, what are the common mistakes you see them making?
So earlier I started AI from a means I tried to use means there were two technologies called when LLM got introduced. There was a technology called RAG, and second was fine tuning. So I started with the fine tuning some models for my internal requirements from a Microsoft. And then I came to know means fine tuning a model is very expensive. There is a lot of cost involved. You require a lot of resources also to fine tune a particular model. Then if I want to use my internal knowledge base, RAG was the best technology where I can have a different documents or knowledge base in the form of a JSON, CSV, or a PDF documents or a text documents. I can create a vectors, I can store in the vectors to then I can then use a RAG to get answers from through a chatbot from my knowledge base. So that was initial when I started with the AI. Then means November 2024, MCP server came and then AI agents came. I started develop lot of MCP servers. For example, I developed the MCP server for accessibility testing. I developed the MCP server for logging to a MCP to a Microsoft system, whether it's a SharePoint or any Microsoft-based system. I created a MCP server for that. I created a auth password-based auth or certificate-based auth systems using the MCP server. And then I started developing a AI agents for generating a test cases. So that's how I started in the AI landscape.
And do you have an example when all those technology were put into place and you got a successful result?
So AI is still evolving means I'm facing a lot of issues when it's come to a context awareness about different agents. Okay. So for example, generating a test case means your system should be aware of the complete web product on which you want to, for which you want to write a test cases. Okay. So context awareness was not available when we were using a RAG technology. RAG technology is expensive. It's a but best if it's simple documents. But if when you come to a code, it was difficult to understand that context. And even those models were not that much code aware, having a code awareness. Or new models from Anthropic is having a lot of code awareness, and they spent a lot of time to how we can generate or how we can invest by creating systems which can generate a code also, which can understand a code also, and which can generate a test also.
What steps we can take to make sure it doesn't make any mistake, for example?
Okay, so I have developed a new AI agents using a Claude code. Okay, and now means when Claude code is context aware, so it maintains the complete context in the Claude.md file. Other than that, I have developed my own system which will be maintaining the complete test context also in the JSON file. So I'm maintaining a complete product glossary, product domain, combines all those while generating a test case. So I combine the Claude agents along with the Playwright CLI right now. So the Playwright comes with the Playwright CLI. So I use a Playwright CLI along with the Claude.md file to get a context and generate a test cases.
Okay, thank you. And if someone is interested to get started, where should they begin to implement MCP, for example?
So for MCP, first thing is that they should be aware of programming language, whether they want to use a Python or a TypeScript. They can use a .NET or a C# also for writing MCP. So MCP provides all these programming languages support. Then you should be aware of AI technologies like how LLM works, how RAG works, all these systems, how AI system works. Then he should be aware of their system which they want to expose as MCP tool. So whether that system will be providing APIs to expose, whether those will be a TypeScript libraries you want to expose, or those will be some database operations you want to expose. So you should be aware of your system also which you want to expose as MCP server. And third, you should be aware how MCP server works. What is a MCP client? What is a MCP host? What is a MCP server? So there are three systems involved: client, host, and server. They should be aware of those technologies and how a transport layer will be used for exposing for a communication between the client, host, and server in the MCP. So first, they will be aware of all these technologies and different frameworks that they can write a MCP server very easily.
Okay, so yeah. And in terms of skills, like what foundations do we need to have? For example, do I have to be a developer, a good programmer, do scripting in programming language? What foundation skills do we need to begin?
So like I said, you require basic programming skills that can be a Python, TypeScript, Java, or C# whatever they are using. So they should be expert in a particular programming language. Okay. Secondly, means if they want to write user AI in test automation, then they should be aware of some test automation frameworks like a Playwright. If it's integration test cases, they can be used as Cypress and Selenium also over there. And they should be aware of unit test frameworks also like a Jasmine or a Karma they want to use. That they should be having a good knowledge of LLMs and prompt engineering. Prompt engineering is very good when you want to do automation. So the way you are writing the system prompt or your user prompt, that will play a big role where your agent will behave. Okay, even in the case of MCP tools also means when you're creating tools, you have to define a proper definition. So you have to give a proper name, description, and then you have to use a schema to explain the input parameters a particular tool will be accepting. Okay, so over there you can use a Jones schema or some other technologies for defining that complete tool. Okay, then you can explore how AI agents works, how autonomous system works, how RAG system works. So you can try those technologies also. Then the MCP server again means if they want to take with the real-time tools or system. So this will combine means automation, programming skills, your AI knowledge, your tooling. So you can combine all those and you can use in your future development.
Okay. And do you also have an example of a project I can use to practice?
So if you go through my GitHub repo, so I have a lot of public repos where I have developed a lot of MCP servers, AI tools, also RAG systems also. So anybody can go through those tools and those codes and they can try to replicate that or fork that particular repo they can use for their benefits.
Okay. And if I want to implement that in test automation, what flows do you recommend me to get started on?
For automation, it depends end-to-end life cycle means you want to generate test cases, so you can create an agent over there. If you want to have you have requirements or a PRD documents or your feature or epics available in the ADO or GitHub or a Jira, so you can generate a complete test plan. So Playwright provides an agent where you can have a test plan available through different requirement systems. Then you can generate test cases, you can fix flaky test cases. So that's a one part means where you are having a plan, then your generation of a test case, and then your fixing of a test case. Okay. Then you can, I created a custom reporter, AI custom reporter, where you can once a test case will be running, it will capture all the failing test cases stack trace, error stack trace, and from there it will generate a fix also. It will suggest a fix also by using AI. It will provide you a complete RC also why a particular test case fail, and this is a fix which you can use. Again, you can use AI to generate a pull request also out of that particular fix. So it's again a healing pipeline which you can create using a reporter where you can fix a failing test cases and then you can fix them and you can create a pull request. Okay. So there are a lot of other technologies also you can use. You can use AI for reporting also from means once you will push your data to a telemetry or any system, your test results you can use for instrumentation also. Then you can use AI for pipelines also. So there are different ways the way you can use your AI in a complete test automation lifecycle.
Okay. And you've been working in this technology for a few years now. How do you see the future of testing in the next couple of years?
So AI is means like in Microsoft we call it co-pilot. AI is your co-pilot or a co-driver. Okay. Or your companion. Okay, so don't take it as your replacement. It's your companion which will help you in your co-development. Okay, whether you want to do a co-development for any application or any system, or whether you want to do in a test automation, this will be your co-developer. Okay, or this will be your friend or a assistant which will help you to write a code. It's not your replacement. It will complement you. It will provide you more efficiency, makes you more effective.
Okay, got it. And do you have any resources other than your GitHub for listener who are interested in getting started, like books, or resources or people to
Yeah,
follow?
so if you go to my website deepakkamboj.com, I have a blog over there where I keep on posting articles over there also. I post articles on my AI Digest newsletter also. I post on a LinkedIn also. I post on medium.com also. So I have a lot of articles for the last 24 years. Means I'm writing a lot of blogs so people can go through those blogs. And even if they want any help or support from me, they can connect me to through a LinkedIn also. I keep on helping a lot of people. I keep on doing a lot of volunteering activities also. So they can connect me on LinkedIn if they want any help from me.
Yeah, I confirm. So thank you very much. Thank you, Deepak. So that was my last question. Is there anything you want to add that I didn't ask you?
So a lot of people ask me, Mees, whether AI will replace them or whether it will lead to a lot of layoffs. So Mees, don't take AI as your competitor or your replacement. Try to understand Mees. Uh, Technology is changing very fast. Okay, we were having earlier Mees systems where I have worked on our legacy systems also. Then we when I started my career, smartphones first your landline phone games, then smartphone games, they have not replaced us. The same way AI will not replace us. They will help us. They will complement us. So take it as a another challenge means where you have to learn AI and you have to use that AI to make your life easy. Okay. Earlier testers were doing manual activities. Now they can use AI to automate those manual activities. Okay. They can understand. They can use AI agents to understand why system fails, why a particular test case fails, what type of a test case I can write. AI will help them writing a lot of edge cases also, lot of negative testing also, lot of happy paths also. So they can use agents over there. So they can use agents to automate lot of better activity which they were performing. For example, if they are sharing some AI report with their management, they can use AI over there to automate that particular reporting for themselves.
Okay. So, okay. Thank you again, Deepak. That was a great conversation. And thank you again for taking the time to share your insight.
Yeah, thank you for having me on your podcast. I truly enjoyed the conversation and I appreciate the opportunity to share my thoughts and experience with you and your audience. Thanks again.
Okay, you're welcome. So for those who are interested, I will share in the links your LinkedIn profile so people can reach out to you, your AI Digest newsletter, the GitHub, and your website. So thank you very thank you very much. So this concludes today's episode on how to test this. I hope you found it valuable. If you did, you can share it with the colleagues and stage it for upcoming episode. This is Mamadou. That was how to test this. Thank you again, Deepak, and see you next time.